What's up, guys? Vince Reddy here. And my goodness, I just saw. By the way, this is my first impressions. Only episode one I saw of One Piece. I just have to savor all the moments of actually watching the rest of it because I just need time to actually really talk about. Because the thing is that One Piece, even though the amount of content of One Piece, I still need to catch up on, especially still on Fisherman Wharf and actually still plan to, in some ways, review it. I enjoy so much of the music, the characters, the story, the ambition of just like what One Piece really is. And I was excited to check this out, but I didn't really see any trailers. I wanted to actually, go into this blind, even though I know the story very well from, the first episode all the way to Water 7. But yeah, this is just my impressions. And man, it was so good. Luffy in this live action already, just off the bat, has so much, you know, of Luffy in him from the anime. Just a little bit. Even though that I feel like there's like two kinds of different characters displayed when it comes down to child Luffy and then into like older Luffy within this. I still enjoy that he was like just this big ball of ambition and just still having that volume, but also there's that certain charm he has in this show. Some people might not, think it's perfect or not, but man, I think it's just it is just how I would love it, and it's in the perfect place for me in a sense where, because I'm only in the first episode, so I'm still catching up on just so much of like what is, really going on within, I guess the lore and everything of like One Piece, the way it's gonna be later on in this show. Because there's still questions. I heard that there hasn't been a reveal yet for like Robin or Chopper. Like Lord knows what really those characters will look like. So, but we got a piece to actually see just the first three characters being Zoro and Nami, and of course, Luffy as well. Seeing Kobe, I didn't realize that Kobe was gonna be like, I don't know if they got it right. I feel like they made Kobe white, even though that Kobe's Japanese. But hey, Oda's call of just like the characters and everything. From what I heard, Oda actually is working within this film of who is who. So I appreciate that. Even though I they said like Luffy is supposed to be Brazilian slash like a Portuguese looking character, and they got that right. I just feel that very almost like Latin like vibe true Luffy. Just the way I sort of see him as, and also seeing Shanks as well. Like that was something that I just felt like that father figure already from that character oozing true true like that story of like or at least a flashback of what Luffy was, and also seeing the gum gum fruits, which I got a feeling that there's this guy that is sort of like well known of actually making certain cakes or something like that. I swear that that freaking gum gum fruit is just like it's a cake. It has to be like some sort of, I don't know. They design it. It just looks good. Looks like something like inside of it is like green panda, kind of like like a matcha cake inside or something. I was just thinking about that cake, but man, yeah. And also Alvida. Very interesting that Alvida is like Asian. I didn't realize that. They were gonna choose that because here's the thing about One Piece that most of the characters, like I noticed that there is, there's origins that they're from, according to from some source, maybe Oda, maybe some of the team that created One Piece, the storyboard itself, like from a long time ago. But there is I didn't realize that they were creating these characters to actually be in this from this live action, because it felt from the anime itself, the anime felt like a whole entire different vibe, and it makes sense because live action and animation obviously is different, and the tensions are different, the vibe and the tradition is different. This, at the end of the day, this whole this Netflix adaptation of One Piece at the end of the day is a pirate show. I wouldn't say it's like Pirates of the Caribbean because I barely remember Pirates of the Caribbean. I haven't seen that in decades, but it is a traditional, like, pirate show, but in the early stages of actually developing to be something more bigger. Like especially the scene. This is another thing about Luffy because when you have a character of a lead like that, of a protagonist, you gotta make a first impression so good. And man, that this live action Luffy did not disappoint. That scene with him talking to Kobe, I can see the ambition in his eyes. I can see definitely like that sense of like hope. Especially talking to Kobe as they sailing away. Like I can, I felt it. There's so many parts of this particular adaptation, at least for me as a optimistic, watcher sometimes, and look at my other reviews. I'm just so optimistic sometimes because I guess that's the only safe way I'm just choosing. But I noticed that each scene itself is actually still has like a little bit of twist compared to actually what is really going on in the actual adaptation because I've seen Romance Down, but this is a sort of different take with it, but it still has the similarities and the same thing to Romance Dawn itself. Like certain characters are changed a little bit, certain scenes that I don't remember that actually was there or something, but and certain stuff that actually was supposed to be in later episodes, but it just all of a sudden is here. Like when Luffy was in the barrel, I thought there was going to be pirates surrounding it just to see what's in the barrel, but there isn't. Instead, Luffy is like in a dark area, and the only person that actually came up to Luffy, the first person that we see, is Kobe. So, and also Luffy was working something before that, and then his like ship sank or whatever. So, like I don't know what it is that he Luffy was doing or working before that because I didn't even see that in the anime. I only saw this in the live action, and there was just something like I guess missing that just happened to be something that he was doing then that or like some job like a delivery man or someone, and yeah, just spawn inside a barrel and sleep in it. I guess that's what I would do if I was like in a sinking ship in a ways, even though I would probably have a hard time fitting it and also it would just be uncomfortable. But yeah, this whole anime, not anime, but live action adaptation in its first impressions was pretty good. I like the setting, I like the characters already. Zoro just to me like just already just it just makes me feel like he's definitely a badass. It just showcased that better than I can ever imagine. Mostly slick and just of course attractive. One thing is attractive is actually the warlords are not the warlord, but the marine's son. I didn't know he was gonna be this like blondish individual, and I got saw a piece of him and just like it warned about nudity, and then I saw him. I was like, okay, I don't know what you're trying to do to me, Netflix, but yeah, this adaption not bad. There's certain parts for sure that I can't think about that needed a little bit more polishing here and there, that need to be more like some kind of like more oomph to the action. But even the action was so good, and the acting like it was in the right place. I honestly probably had low expectations for what it is, but it just blew it out the water. It just it was just a savory moment, just the experience and everything. Even though that there was probably some parts in this adaptation that would actually just sort of like not vibe with certain audiences for sure. Not everything's perfect. You know, and also seeing Rogers as well. I mean, I feel like that there's some parts of that where it just feels like an anime convention to me, but I guess that they did it well for that one. I thought they were gonna go oversaturated, with the characters and the looks of what they are, or something like that. You know, definitely like would add a bit more color to it for sure. And also the introduction of Buggy, it gave me Jinx from Arcane vibes. That's what I would say. Okay, it really does. I don't know what it is, but the moment that Buggy was introduced, I he smiled and then I smiled. I was like, "Oh, snap." It's just that watching all of this, it just felt like magic. It doesn't feel like, everyone is doing a cosplay. It almost felt like this almost was just something that was the first before the anime. I don't know. But yeah, other than that, it was good. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you subscribe, like, comment, and jazz. I'm gonna be reviewing the whole thing later on from 1 to 8, or Lord knows how many episodes are they, because I am looking forward to this adventure in One Piece. Other than that, I'll see you when I see it. One love and peace.